Welcome to Game Explorer, a show sponsored by ComicsCafe.ro. That's .ro if you're speaking English. It's .ro if you're a Romanian speaker. And today we are going to look at Spell of the Winter Wizard, a choose-your-own-adventure book from the 80s. They had another name for it called the Pick-a-Path series. And I'm curious as to the kind of adventure we're going to find in this. I loved these in the 1980s, and if I'm blessed with children someday, I'm going to be reading these to my kids. You could probably find them at a thrift store. If you're lucky, that's always a treasure hunt. You could probably find them on Amazon, eBay, but keep your eyes open for the Dungeons and Dragons Endless Quest series, because they are a fun treasure. Let me read to you on the back. A pick-a-path adventure. Only you can save the kingdom. It's a lot of pressure. Warzin, the evil winter wizard, has cast a spell of ice and snow over the land of eternal spring. You must rescue the captive wizard Alcazar and stop Warzin, if you can. His army of orcs and boars is mighty, and his magic is powerful. What will you do? The paths you may take are many, and the choices are yours. You will try to persuade... Oh, it's a question. Will you try to persuade the powerful frost giant to aid you in battle against the Winter Wizard? Will you sail to the fair land of Etikanen and attempt to enlist the aid of the mighty Tortak? Or will you seek out the magical crimson flame mushroom, curing the alien Alcazar, and use his powerful magic against Warzin? Action and adventure are in every Endless Quest book. You will find yourself returning again and again to experience new paths of excitement. Remember, only you can remove the icy spell of the Winter Wizard. Again, only me. That's a lot of pressure. I'm still not seeing myself in the stream. But we're going to keep recording anyway. Here we are. Let us begin. Spell of the Winter Wizard by Linda Lowry. As we open up, we have a first picture in the book. Well, here we have it looks like a barbarian riding a white dragon, or a wizard. That's probably the Winter Wizard, the fabled Winter Wizard that's in the title. And as we open the book, we have an older gentleman and a child riding on a Pegasus. So that's where we're starting. That's at least illustration-wise something that we have going on. The artwork on the cover is by Elmore, who's a very, very wonderful fantasy artist. I love his iconic fantasy artwork. Absolutely adore it. You are about to set off on an adventure in which you will meet many dangers and face many decisions. Your choices will determine how the story turns out, so be careful. You must choose wisely. Do not read this book from beginning to end. Instead, as you are faced with a decision, follow the instructions and keep turning to the pages where your choices lead you until you come to an end. At any point, your choice could bring success or disaster. You can read Spell of the Winter Wizard many times, with many different results. So if you make an unwise choice, go back to the beginning and start again. Good luck on your adventure. In this book, you are Omina, stepchild of Alcazar, the Wizard of the Eternal Spring. You are out gathering herbs to use in soup for your ailing stepfather, when your peaceful evening is interrupted by warlike shouts and the thundering of many hooves. Well, we have a picture here. Picture of a man riding a wild boar. Stifling a scream of panic, you race across the field towards home. The night is wild with screeches of Warzen's boars. The cries echo through the countryside, and the thunder of hooves grows louder and louder. I should never have left Alcazar alone, you think. Not even while I pick the herbs for his soup. You fling a handful of herbs on the bench and shout to your cat, "Hurry, Cornelius! We must get to Alcazar before Warzen's army reaches him." And as you round the corner to the back of the cottage, your heart sinks. It's too late. Orcs are pounding on the front door. You know you must hide quickly, so you burrow into the woodpile by the door, your eyes searching for the cat. "Cornelius Sylvan," you hiss, but he's gone. Suddenly you hear a loud boom, followed by the sound of the front door splintering, windows shattering, the army storming into the cottage. Poor Alcazar, you think, but your thoughts freeze when you hear Warzen's voice bellow above the commotion. "Silence!" he roars, and the noise stops instantly. Well, well, well. Isn't this a sight to behold? The great wizard of the eternal spring, lying in his bed, powerless before me. The winter wizard's cruel laughter sends shivers up your spine. You crawl deeper among the logs. In your mind, you picture Warzen's ugly face, his black eyes glaring through narrow slits, his tangled beard packed thick with ice, his barbed teeth jagged as icicles. Where are your powers and your loyal followers now, Alcazar? Sneers Warzen. I don't see anyone rushing to protect you. What should we do with him, Warzen? Asked a gruff voice. Should we give him a few jabs with our pig stickers? Snorts and shuffles of rude laughter burst from the onlooking army. No, muttonhead, growls Warzen. I want the pleasure of seeing him suffer. We'll put him in the ice cavern in my castle dungeon and watch him slowly freeze. You hear that shrug? The ice cavern, gloats an orc. He can hang next to the disobedient boar with the teeth as sharp as knife blades. It ought to be pretty hungry by now, howls another. Quiet, booms Warzen. Boarkeepers, get out your ropes and take him away. And see that you keep him alive on the journey north. There's a loud shuffling of feet, and you picture the horrible creature tearing Alcazar from his bed and binding his frail frame. It's all you can do to keep from leaping forth to defend him. Alcazar's earlier words of warning hold you back. They are an army, and you are but one. If anything happens, you must protect yourself. You are dear to me, more dear to me than my own life. And now the kingdom is ours, shouts Warzen as the orcs cheer in triumph. Not for long, you vow silently. Not for long. Let the frigid winds blow. Let the wintry snow descend upon the land. Let all that is green and living turn to cold and darkness. The icy frost of winter shall reign forever, booms Warzen. And the evil army thunders off, howling their victory cheer into the night. Frigid winds roar across the woodpile, driving snow deep into the cracks of your hidden palace. You shiver violently and begin to inch your way out from under the logs, listening for any boarkeeper Warzen may have left behind. Hearing nothing, you creep out into the cottage and cover your trembling body with heavy blankets. You try to rest, but your heart pounding madly and sleep won't come. There are many decisions to make before dawn. Somehow, you must rescue your stepfather and restore him to health. You recall what Alcazar told you earlier about the crimson flame mushroom. That it grows in the forbidden forest. It is the only cure for my illness, he said. The druids can help you find it. But the forest teems with dangerous creatures, and you must be very careful. Will you be able to find the druids? Will they help you find the crimson flame mushroom? Can you get it to Alcazar before it is too late? Maybe you should try to rescue him first, and then search for the druids later. But then again, as dawn reveals the horizon, you have narrowed your choices down to two. You can try to destroy the wizard first, then save Alcazar before he freezes. Or you can seek out the druids, find the crimson flame mushroom, and take it to Alcazar. I think I'm going to try to save him immediately. That's what I'm going to do. If we can save him immediately, then maybe we can save him before he freezes. I don't want to find the winter mushroom and have my stepfather freeze to death. So that's what we're going to do. Turn to page 65. 65. You throw your heavy white cloak over your tunic and fasten the hood. You'll need plenty of protection, you think. You pull out a loose stone from the fireplace to reveal a secret hiding place inside Alcazar's golden whistle, kept there for just such an emergency as this. You recall the words, "There is a magic whistle. There is magic in this whistle. Use it wisely." As you thrust the whistle deep into your pocket, you see the iron poker rest on the hearth. A good sturdy weapon, you think, and you pick it up. You feel safely armed. Feeling safely armed, you hurry through the door, setting out for the evil wizard's castle. Warzen's winter spell has killed all the daffodils and tulips, turning the field into a frozen wasteland. And ahead of you lies a silent sea of snow. Your first stop is the covered bridge, where you hope to find Cornelius Sullivan playing with the fish in the stream. It's always been his favorite hiding place, but now the stream is frozen, and you see strange footprints in the snow. As a large animal has recently passed by, you examine the prints. A gentle voice behind you says, "Those are mine, O Mina." You spin around and find a large reindeer standing before you. "How did you know my name?" you ask hesitantly, feeling bewildered. The furry antlered creature looks friendly enough. His body is graceful, and thick lashes fringe his mild green eyes. So we have a green-eyed reindeer. Here we are. This is the green-eyed reindeer that you just found. I really like the illustrations in this book. I love classic D&D illustrations. Because I am Cornelius Sullivan, your cat. Omiya, something incredible has happened. Last night while I slept under the bridge, everything turned to winter, and when I awoke, I had become a reindeer. It's Warzen's spell, isn't it? You eyed the animal suspiciously. You could be talking to Cornelius Sullivan, but then again, it could be one of Warzen's orcs trying to trick you. If you're really Cornelius Sullivan, then you can tell me about Alcazar and his cottage, can't you? You ask, crossing your arms over your chest. The reindeer nods. My cat always curled up next to me in the hearth. Tell me what the hearth is made of. Stone, from the crocus field, answered the reindeer without batting an eyelash. And what was I brewing last night in the kettle over the fire? Herbal broth made with lemon balm and iris petals, I think. You correct him. Anise root, no iris. Now, Mia, be fair. I can't remember everything you put in your soups, and I truly am Cornelius Sullivan. Please trust me. The animal pleads, looking at you with Cornelius's forest green eyes. And tell me, what happened last night? Where is Alcazar? All right, I'll tell you. You say, anxious to share the awful story with someone. But I'm still not convinced you're my cat. The reindeer listens intently as you relate the details of Alcazar's capture and Warzen's spell. There's only one thing to do. Omiya, we must go to Chiron, the High Wizard of Yonbluff, right away. Since Alcazar helped him fight off Warzen's boars last year, he will surely help us. Chiron, you exclaim. Of course. He's a great friend of Alcazar's, and he would be just as powerful as Warzen. We must move swiftly, though. Omiya, come, jump on my back. We're going to pay a visit to Chiron. You must decide quickly whether to trust this unusual reindeer, because it could be a trick of Warzen's to kidnap you, but it might also be the only way to Alcazar. I'm going to trust the reindeer. We'll learn a lesson. Should we trust a talking reindeer or not? And I'm very curious. Will you go with the reindeer to seek help from Chiron? Or will you decide not to trust the strange reindeer, but go on alone? I want to be trustful. I want to trust the reindeer. Turn to page 97. Hopping onto Cornelius's back, you wrap your arms around his soft neck, and your mount gallops northeast towards the kingdom of Yonbluth. You bury your face deep in his fur and shield it from the bitter, stinging wind. You barely pass the hill of Sweet William when, poof, a dead tree on your right disappears in a cloud of pink smoke. Cornelius skids to a halt. A cautious little man in a purple robe is coughing and waving his hands to clear away the smoke. His wide-brimmed hat is so much too big that it rides down over his eyes. Darn hat! I must speak with my haberdasher when I get back, he complains, pushing his hat back on his forehead. How many times do I have to tell him to trim the hat and beef up the robe? The lining in this robe is entirely too thin. A huge shudder and shake the man's skinny little frame. I'm freezing! Cornelius takes a few steps back, and you rub your eyes to see through the pink haze, which is now settling. The strange little man picks up a pair of broken spectacles from the snow and places them on his nose. He looks just like a prune with weak eyes, you think. Curses! He grumps. Everywhere I go, I run into crowds. Can't an alchemist have a little peace and quiet? Who are you, anyway? I'm Omiya, you tell him. And this is my cat, Cornelius Sullivan. We have a picture. I think this is the grumpy old man with one of the lenses of his glasses broken, his thin coat, and his wide-brim hat. Cat? Cat, did you say? The alchemist looked at you as if you are mad. What manner of kingdom is this, where a cat looks like a reindeer? He shakes his head in disbelief. Well, actually, Cornelius was my cat, you explain. But the Winter Wizard turned him into a reindeer just last night. And to answer your other question, You are now in the kingdom of eternal spring.
Spring?
He asked disgustedly.
Spring? Then why are my teeth chattering? This looks like a dead winter to me.
That's because of the spell. You see, it's been spring here as long as I can remember, but my stepfather, who the winter wizard Alcazar, who is also the wizard Alcazar, fell ill and lost his powers. And you see, the alchemist doesn't understand a single word. You decide to stop before the story becomes even more jumbled and confusing. Never mind all that, you say. Just tell me who you are. And how did you get here? And what was that pink smoke?
I, my young pigeon, am the one and only Gladius T. Agonimus, alchemist extraordinaire, advisor to young and old, tall and short.
He removes his hat and makes a dramatic bow, exposing his bald and shiny crystal ball. Exposing his bald head and his shiny and crystal ball. That'd be an interesting picture if he had the crystal ball under his hat. I like that picture.
How may I be of help?
Well, I don't really know, Mr. Argalon. He waves his hands irritably.
Just call me Fred. That'll do.
Well, Mr. Fred, that's what sorts of things do you do?
Anything, everything. I cure the ills, the sicken, the well, the fattened, the thin. I bring joy to the downhearted. I make any kind of potion you need. I can solve all your problems.
Do you have a problem?
You do have a problem, don't you?
He asked eagerly. As a matter of fact, I do, but how do you know you can solve it?
You insult me, little nightingale,
he whimpered, grasping his wrinkled hands into his chest.
I am hurt. Cut to the quick.
He reaches into his breast pocket and removes a yellow sheet of paper, which he flashes before your eyes. School of Alchemy, Kingdom of Urk. He reads and shuffles the paper back into his pocket.
Now, if you have need of my services, you must hurry. I'm going to disappear shortly. Before I catch my death of...
Gesundheit, says Cornelius, watching the alchemist's nose noisily blow his nose into an enormous red handkerchief. Let me put it this way, Fred. You say all business. I need a cure for someone who is very sick, but is also very far away. What would you suggest?
Simplicity itself, my little dove.
Answers the alchemist, crumbling the hanky underneath his hat. I can concoct a potion that will survive the trip of any distance, or we can all disappear, only to reappear in the patient's room so I can have a look at him, but I've got to do either quickly before all my herbs freeze. You examine the little man for a moment, your mind racing. It appears that you have a choice. You have choices. One, you can ask the alchemist to make a potion for you and take it directly to Warzen's castle. You can have the alchemist make you disappear and reappear with Cornelius in the ice cavern, or you can thank the alchemist for his services, but refuse his services. Turn to page 43. Well, if you can take me right to the ice cavern, that could be very, very convenient. But he did say to the wizard's room. He said to the wizard's room, and here it's saying the choice is to the ice cavern. I'm going to chance it. We'll see if he takes us back to the cottage, or if he takes us to the ice cavern. Page 33. Oh, page 35. 35. Turning to page 35. We find let's just go right to Alcazar, you say. Here's a picture of you sitting by the mountainside, the frozen mountainside. Let's see what's going on. Let's just go right to Alcazar, you say. There's no time to waste. The sooner said than done, announces the alchemist, pulling a tiny vial of blue fluid from his sleeve. Drink up, my pigeon. We'll be with your stepfather in no time. You take a gulp of liquid and crash! There is a flash of pink light all around you. And then you are lying flat on your back in the snow. From the corner of your eye, you see jagged rocks and icy boulders all about, and waves pounding from the sea just inches from your feet. Why, that darned alchemist! You cry, sitting up to brush the snow from your cloak. He didn't have a clue as to what he was doing. Save Alcazar, indeed. And where's Cornelius? One good scan of the seacoast tells you the reindeer is nowhere to be seen. But there is something else. Far, far to the north, you see an enormous black castle perched high on the steep cliff. Wurzen's castle, you shout as you scramble to your feet. You hear moaning from the cliffs behind you. Wurzen's castle, echoes a hollow voice. You spin around, searching the cliffs for a sign of life, but there's nothing. Nothing at all. I'm hearing voices, you say, shaking your head. What a terrific jolt I must have had, landing here. Wurzen's castle, comes again the voice from the cliff. Are you going to Wurzen's castle? Now you can see a light, a lantern, deep inside a cave in hidden bluffs. You squint to try to make out more, but only the lantern is visible. Who goes there? You demand, trying to keep panic from rushing through your veins. Who are you? Who are you? A very old barkeep, the hollow voice replies. Oh, not barkeep, boarkeep, as in wild pigs, boars. A very old boarkeep, a hollow voice replies. A boarkeep who hung in the ice caverns of Wurzen's castle for many months. But I can't see you, you say. Why can't I see you? Because death saves me from my pain. Now my spirit wanders the lonely coast. A ghost? You murmur, reaching to the ground for your iron poker. The lantern is moving slowly towards you now. Out of the cave and across the rocks, you feel the body begin to tremble. What do you want? You shout.
You're going to Warzen's castle, aren't you?
Well, yes, you say hesitating.
I want to go with you,
says the ghost, swinging its lantern as it approaches you.
I want to destroy the winter wizard. I want revenge.
But how can we destroy him, you ask?
I have a method I've been planning for a century,
the ghost answers.
I will tell you as we travel to the castle.
But I can't even see you.
You want to see me? Then I will soon make myself visible to you. You will see every detail of my tortured form. The gnashes from the iron chains that held my arms, the patches of frostbite that destroyed my body.
Your heart is in your throat now, and you back away from the voice ever so slowly. But I am on a mission of good, to save my stepfather from the wizard's haunt. You tell the ghost.
I don't care. I want revenge, wails the voice. Revenge!
The lantern is moving close to you, over the rocks, across the snow. You must do something right away. You can ask the ghost to join you on your journey. You can run from the ghost, or you can blow the golden whistle. We have the golden whistle. Let's hear the tune of the golden whistle. I'm curious because they gave that to us as a choice. So we're going to blow the golden whistle and turn to page 28. You rub your eyes and open them one at a time and realize that you are somewhere very dark and moist. There is moss growing on the wall. The only source of light is one doorway, a curved opening that leads outside where the sun is shining. A tree trunk, you say. How in the world did I land inside a tree trunk? You shake your head, but it feels a little dizzy. That's funny. I can't remember, you say, walking into the sunlight. You look up to see a big, clumsy cloud drifting across the sky. Clumsy cloud drifting across the sky. And you look down to see a little brown face peeking at you from behind the China berry tree. One by one, friendly halflings pop out of the trunk, smiling very big smiles, carrying fruit and flowers in their arms. Soon you are surrounded by 100 of the tiny, laughing creatures. Welcome to the island of Etikan, Omnia, says one, handing you a bouquet of orchids. You know my name? You ask. Of course we do. We are the Etaks, and we want you to be happy here, says another, giving an enormous pink pear. How did you get here? How did I get here? Do you know that too? You ask the little creatures. The same way everyone gets here, answers one Etak, with an armful of columbines. Magic. We're here to make you happy, says another proudly. There's only one way to make me happy, you answer. That's help me find Warren the Winter Wizard so I can rescue my stepfather. All in due time, says the Attacks in unison. We know of your problems, says the pair Attack. And all problems have solutions, but you must be patient. But time is running out, you say, not the least bit patiently. Not to worry. Ecton is not a place for worries, says the little creature, winding a yellow daisy in your hair. Now come with us, Omnia. Please turn to page 62. Have a picture of the halfling Attacks right there. Seem to be very hospitable. Two of the little Attacks grasp your hands, and soon you are being led into a straw hut, dim and peaceful inside, and full of small, rich earth. Here's where you stay, they all say at once. It's a lot of talking at once. We'll hang your name, Omnia, on the sign above the doorway, and this will be your very own home. Big pots of pink fuchsia flowers hang from the rafters, and there is a tiny wooden bed, piled high with soft pink pillows, in the corner. You even have your own desk and beneath your bed, a hand-woven carpet that creates beautiful dreams while you're sleeping. The Attacks giggle when their eyes open wide at the realization that the rug is made of real flower. At your realization that the rug is made with real flowers and gold thread. But I didn't come to stay, you begin. But you stop when the faces of the Attack cloud over with disappointment. One little creature even begins to cry, a stricken look on his tiny face. But you must stay, at least for the night, says one. You will be so happy here, completely happy, says another. Well, you say, looking at all the expectant faces as the halflings wait for you to answer. Oh, please say yes, begs a little Attack, who is still crying tiny round tears as if its heart might burst. They are waiting for your answer. You have two choices. Agree to stay, planning to spend just one night. Tell them you cannot stay and get on with your business. I have to save my stepdad. So I am going to turn to page 69 and try to save my stepfather. Page 69. I do appreciate your hospitality, you tell the Attacks, but I'm traveling on an important mission. I must save my stepfather from the Winter Wizard Warren right away. Alcazar is very ill, and he could die soon if I don't rescue him. The halflings twitter among themselves. This is before the internet, so it's before Twitter. They're not texting right now. The halflings twitter among themselves like tiny tropical birds. Can you help me? You plead. Unfortunately, we have no power, says the combined Attack. But Thortak will certainly want to hear your story. Thortak, you ask.
Our master.
Explains an Etek who's carrying a basket of red oranges.
Come with us.
Say, says all the halflings, taking your hands, leading you to the door. Where are we going?
To Mount Tak, where Tortak lives.
They say, and you follow them over green hills and down flowery valleys and up a very high mountain covered with fruit trees. The higher you travel, the foggier it gets. You realize you are walking through a big, white calamus cloud. Soon, you are standing over a mountain that feels like the top of the universe. It is thick with lush vegetation, and the trees are heavy with strange fruit. This way to Thortak, announces an Etak, pointing to a path of flower petals that leads through the trees. Just follow the path. It will lead you to Thortak. We will wait here for you. You do as you are told. Soon you are standing on a beautiful mountaintop clearing. In the middle of the clearing is a quiet blue lake. At the edge of the lake is a man, a massive, round-billed man, who sits cooling his feet in the water. We have a picture of him right there. That's probably Thortak. He was wearing a white deerskin tunic clinched at the waist with a vine. His long gray hair is intertwined with a crown of blueberries, with a crown of bluebells. Well, don't just stand there, says the man in a jolly voice. Come in. Make yourself at home. Are you Thortak? You ask, looking him up and down. He has hummingbirds on his fingers, but it flits away at the sound of your voice. That's what they say, he answers, laughing a friendly laugh. Thortak in the fresh water, in the flesh. He extends a huge hand for you to shake. And this is my house. I have the stars and the clouds for my roof. The earth is my floor, and no walls to disturb the view. Now, what can I do for you, little one? I have traveled from the kingdom of eternal spring, you begin. Oh, I know all that, Omania, he interrupts, waving his hands. Just tell me what you need from me. I have come for your help in fighting wars and rescuing Alcazar, you say, getting right to the point. The odds are great, he says, popping berries into his mouth. Here, would you like one? He passes a leaf filled with big purple berries towards you. You are hungry, so you take one. That's odd. The odds, in fact, he continues, are almost impossible for a little one like you. This Warzin is no weakling, you know. I know, Thortak, but I must try. In spite of all odds, I must save Alcazar. Thortak sets down his leaf of berries and looks you straight into the eye. Now tell me, my dear, how can a wizard be as important as all that? Because he's my stepfather, you say, not batting an eyelash. Because I love him. Precisely. Because you love him, he shouts, leaping to his feet like a great elephant. Yes, sir, that's the key to it all. Now come on, he says, wrapping his burly arm around your shoulder like a polar bear. I'll tell you something. I'm going to give you whatever you need to fight this Warzone devil. I'll see to it that his evil power is stopped. By the method we use will be up to you. You mean I have a choice? You ask. Of course you have a choice. But I warn you right now, you must pay the consequences if you make the wrong decision. I believe in lessons, and we'll see how fast you learn, little one. Thortak leads you to the other side of a quiet lake. You see the castle over there. He asks you, pointing through the clouds towards the cliff. On the mainland, that's Warren's castle. That's Warren's castle, you say? Exactly, says Thortak. Now, every hour, the Winter Wizard walks on his rooftop to check on his army. The next time he takes his little stroll will be the last time. Your heart leaps. You have come to the right place for help. You have a decision to make, Thortak continues. If you want to use a nice, peaceful method of attack, we'll do it. It will work, but it will be quiet and pleasant. On the other hand, if you want, we can destroy him with his own cruel tactics. There will be thunder and lightning, and a violent end. What do you say? Your mind is filled with thoughts of the terrible kidnapping, of wars and watching your stepfather freeze in the ice cave, and yet you have never seen Alcazar resort to violence. What's your choice? Asked Thortak. You must then decide if you want Warzone to suffer or if you want to conquer him quietly. Will you choose the violent spell? Or will you choose the peaceful spell? From my experience, when you're given a choice like this, you may want revenge, but and it's a children's story, so I have a feeling that if I choose a violent spell, it's going to come back to me, or it might hurt my stepfather, or something like that. So we're going to go today with a peaceful spell. If you want me to read this again, you can contact me, let me know, and we can make any number of choices. I'll make different choices next time I read this. But before I go back to this one, I'm probably going to read a different Endless Quest book. But today, we're going to choose the peaceful spell. 1:13. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is eat peas from France. Peas in Romanian is mazăre. Here we are, page 113. As long as we have a peaceful alternative, we should try it, you say. I know Alcazar would prefer it. Excellent decision, cries Thorak. Your stepfather would be proud of you. He calls for his hummingbird, who flits over the lights on his hand. Gather my apex, he commands. and in a flash he is surrounded by hundreds of little brown halflings. "We are about to save Alcazar and rid the world of the evil wizard Warzin," he tells them. The Atek hug each other in delight and jump up and down. "I will need Mercury," he says to a pink-eared Atek, and the halfling scurries off to fetch it. "I will need gum Arabic," he tells the combined Ateks, and off a column of Ateks, and off it scrambles through the trees. "Now," says Thorak, "when the Ateks return, I will need you to be very quiet. When Warzin walks out onto the rooftop, you will stand and watch the far rooftop expectantly. The moment the wizard appears on the castle roof, the Atoks are silent, and Thorak closes his eyes and extends both his hands toward Warzin. You can feel the energy building in his great body. And suddenly, you seem very, very small next to this huge, powerful presence. We have a picture right here of what's happening on the mountainside. The spell is going out to the castle. So we have an idea of what Thortak is doing. You watch breathlessly. Right before your eyes, a big puff of blue smoke streaks from Thortak's hands, shoots across the sky, surrounds the Winter Wizard. Before Warzin can defend himself, he disappears. And in his place, sprouting right from the rooftop, is a delicate yellow flower. "You've turned him into a daffodil?" you cry. "Now he's just like all the flowers he destroyed with his spells," says Thortak. The Atek are jumping up and down, all excited. "Here, take this cup of nectar to Alcazar," Thortak tells his Ateks. He hands them a golden chalice filled with clear red liquid. "Go, by the way of the underground tunnel, to the mainland. Have him drink the entire potion. He will be cured." "I want to go with them," you cry. "No, no. They will bring Alcazar back here in a matter of moments," says Thortak. "Now be off with you." The Ateks dance down the petal path, laughing and singing with joy. "And now we will have a daffodil planting ritual," says Thortak. With the flick of a finger, he brings the daffodil from the castle roof right onto your hands. "I'd say the wizard looks better as a flower, wouldn't you?" says Thortak, laughing. "We're going to plant him right at the corner of the clearing, and so I can keep an eye on him. If he gives you any trouble, we will just have to turn him into a rock. You dig a hole in the ground and plant Warzin right next to a silver apple tree. Just as you finish, who would walk up into the clearing but Alcazar, you cry, rushing to hug the wizard. "I'm so happy to see you." "You are a brave child, Omnia," says your stepfather. "And I see Warzin got the punishment he deserved." "Omnia's choice," says Thortak. She decided to fight violence with gentleness, and you should be proud of her. She is always welcome on the peaceful island of Ectagon. Thortak turns to his attacks. Well, what are you waiting for? Make the fire, mash the fruit, string the flowers overhead. It's time for a celebration. We shall have a festival around the fire. And Alcazar and Omnia will be our honored guest. As the stars popped one by one into the sky, you feast on the strange and wonderful foods. Ectagon, the foods of the Ectagon. Watch the spring return to your kingdom across the sea. The end. And the last picture we have in this particular story, we have your stepfather Alcazar. We have the powerful Thortak. You're sitting beside, I think that's you sitting beside your stepfather right there. And the Itak, the brown-skinned halflings, celebrating with the food. The end. So that was a Choose Your Own Adventure story. Choose Your Own Adventure, Pick a Path, Endless Quest Adventure, Spell of the Winter Wizard. We'll come back to this someday probably. I'm looking forward to, if I'm blessed with children, reading these to my kids and seeing what choices they make as they explore the story. I think this will be a lot of fun for them. If you're a geek parent, I highly recommend checking these out. And that is all we have today for Game Explorer. Hope you had a good time. We'll be posting this as a video soon. And thank you for checking this out. Papa and la revedere. Goodbye.